Mr. Austin.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just a bit of history. In 2010, the United States Supreme Court issued a 5-4 decision in Citizens United versus the Federal Election Commission that overturned many previous years of precedent and ruled that corporations were like people when it comes to campaign spending. The decision rolled back legal restrictions on corporate spending in elections. And we've seen the impacts of Citizens United, the decision in recent elections with the rise of super PACs, spending millions and millions of dollars to influence elections at the federal, state, and local levels. This has eroded our democratic principles. Some members of Congress are seeking to amend the Constitution to reverse the Citizens United decision and establish that corporations are not entitled to the entirety of protections given to individual citizens. I'd like to thank a grassroots coalition of residents here in Long Beach who have taken up the cause locally to generate support for a constitutional amendment. Many of them are here, seated here today. Thank you. Let's go, man. We're asking the city attorney to draft a resolution for Long Beach to join with over 50 cities and 5 counties in California, as well as 500 municipalities and 16 states nationwide, urging Congress to move forward with a constitutional amendment to reverse the Citizens United decision and protect the integrity and fairness of our electoral process. I would now make a motion to move forward with the resolution. I would love to get a second. Second.
Okay. Mr. Austin. Mr. O'Donnell.
Yeah, thank you. I just want to echo the comments of Councilmember Austin. I'm happy to co-sign. This is very important, and this is about democracy and sunshine, so this is a good thing.
Okay. Mr. Johnson.
Well, thank you, Mayor, and thanks to the council members O'Donnell and Austin for bringing this forward. You know, I tell my students at Cal State Long Beach, you know, the corporations are not really people. It's a legal fiction. And while it makes sense in terms of giving the corporations the right to sue and to do other things, it doesn't make sense to give them the same First Amendment protections that we give actual people. So I do think this is a great motion. I would hope the Supreme Court would correct this on its own without a constitutional amendment. But certainly in the absence of that change, I think it's worth moving forward and finally reversing this egregious error.
Vice Mayor Griffin.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Certainly this decision I think is one of the worst things that's happened out of the Supreme Court in recent time. And I think that I want to personally thank the members of not just the Yes We Can Club, but those that have been involved in the advocacy for this. You guys did a great job organizing, meeting with all of us, getting, you know, I've seen you out First Fridays, gathering petitions on this and other items of importance. So I just want to thank you for your advocacy on all that work.
Councilmember Shipsky.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I also too want to thank the clubs for stepping forward and for my colleagues for doing this. I don't think there's any Supreme Court decision that has had such a negative impact on our democracy as this one had. Well, wait, Bush v. Gore, but that's a whole other thing. I would hope, though, that at some point we do take a step further and do what Elizabeth Warren and others did in the state of Massachusetts, and we have a clean money campaign, not only locally but nationally. It's extremely important because without that, we don't level the playing field. Independent expenditures, money behind the scenes gets poured in, and the voter's voice gets drowned out. So I don't think this Congress is going to listen to what we say unless we wrap it around getting rid of the Affordable Care Act, which we're not going to do. But I think our hearts are in the right place, and I think we can start locally by pushing for other changes that make campaigns as clean as possible. Thank you.
Thank you. We have a motion and a second. I'll take public comment. Okay, thank you. Okay. Please identify yourself.
Hi, my name is Maria Mejia. Good evening, council members. I'm a member of Long Beach Action, a local activist group focused on keeping democracy our preferred system of government of, by, and for the people. As I look at the members of the City Council assembled here, I'm gratified to see the diversity among its members. Long Beach is truly a modern city that is representative of its citizens and a microcosm of this country as it exists right now in the 21st century. Our American democracy has been the envy of the free world for over 200 years. We live under a rule of law that our 3 branches of government have employed to keep order and fairness among the 3 million people who live here. American citizens participate in the system by exercising their right to free speech and their right to vote for their elected representatives. Free speech, in the political sense, is the right to express one's beliefs and ideas without worrying about what the government will say. But that doesn't entitle me to yell fire in a crowded theater. Freedom of speech is not absolute. There are rules to keep the balance between inciting violence or harm and the right to express one's views. The right to vote in elections is precious. Americans have fought and died for this right, and our democracy depends on it. Every city council person and the mayor who are sitting here tonight are here as a result of the electoral process that includes free speech and the right to vote. In January of 2010, the SCOTUS struck down a centuries-old restriction that prevented unions, corporations, and other non-living entities from enjoying the rights that American citizens with an actual pulse enjoy. In effect, allowing these entities to make expenditures for campaign advertisements under the guise of free speech. This regrettable decision did not go unnoticed by fans of democracy such as myself or by political groups from both of the major parties and by millions of voting citizens. Council members, Mayor Foster, I stand here today to ask you to consider the evidence presented to us from the last major elections since the Citizens United decision and see if you don't agree that the floodgates have indeed been opened and that powerful, well-funded interests, including out-of-state and foreign entities, are bankrolling our elections and pushing away the American voter from the sacred process. I ask you to take issue with this decision and prevent our democracy from being handed over to the powerful few. Please join the 50 other California cities that have passed similar symbolic but meaningful resolutions that declare that money is not speech and that corporations are not people. The city of Long Beach deserves to be included in the company of supporters of our democracy, of, by, and for the people. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Good evening, Mayor Foster and members of the City Council. My name is Carol Roberts, and I live in the 2nd District. I would like to urge you to support the resolution calling for a constitutional amendment to overturn the Citizens United Supreme Court ruling. This decision has allowed corporations, unions, PACs, and wealthy individuals to spend unlimited amounts to influence the outcome of elections. This corrupts the democratic process because it gives these special interest groups and individuals too much influence and alters the principle of one person, one vote that is the foundation of our democratic form of government. Even though Citizens United was a Supreme Court decision, its effects go beyond the federal level. Unlimited spending is a problem at all levels. In fact, allowing unlimited money and outside money into local elections is even more of a problem because it doesn't take much money, especially in an off-year election, to change the result of a local election. I feel that it also contributes to lower voter turnout, which is an issue that concerns a lot of us here in Long Beach. For the past 5 years, I've done voter registration in many different neighborhoods of Long Beach. There are always a few people who are eligible to vote who choose not to register. They often say they see no need because they feel that their vote will not count, that those with the most money decide elections. This is something we need to change. It undermines our democracy when citizens become cynical about their government and about the election process. Even a perception of corruption can discourage people from participating. So we need to fix this. While I'm sure there's always been a certain amount of voter cynicism and apathy, I think that the Citizens United decision has exacerbated the problem. The people of Long Beach should have the right to control their own elections, and they should have confidence that the people they elect to represent them will be responsive to them and to their needs. Long Beach should join the 50 other cities in California that have taken a stand to defend their elections and the democratic process by passing a similar resolution. Thank you for your time and for your service to the people of Long Beach.
Thank you. Next, please.
Hi, Jerry. Mr. Mayor, members of the council, my name is John Smith, and I represent Common Cause, which is a national organization working on voter rights across the country. We've been very proud, very privileged to work with a dynamic group of activists here in Long Beach, and you should also be very proud of them because they really taken this this task of bringing the resolution to you. And I'd also like to say thank you all for, I've met with many of you and also with your staff, and the response that we've had from this council has been terrific. So thank you very much for that. Common Cause has been working all across the country on Citizens United. To date, there are over 500 cities across the country that have passed resolutions. 16 states have passed resolutions. 2 of those states, Montana and Colorado, passed resolutions by citizen initiative, and the majority was 75%. This is not an idle thing that the American people are upset about. The wave of support is sweeping across the country, and it is a bipartisan wave of support, and it is a very strong majority as well. The biggest thing that I could say, I guess, is that this is not so much a matter of overturning a Supreme Court decision, because only the court can do that. What we're looking to do is to clarify the Constitution, because the court was presented in 2010, 2009 with a very serious question about campaign finance. And so they went to the Constitution for reference. And when they got there, they saw that there was no reference to corporations or to labor unions or to campaign finance or to whether or not money was free speech. None of those things were contained in the Constitution, and so they had to interpret the Constitution. In interpreting the Constitution, they ended up with a 5-4 decision that could have gone either way. They ended up with a 5-4 decision in favor of Citizens United and threw out a century worth of campaign finance laws. What we're looking to do is to make their job a lot easier. From now on, with the overwhelming support of the American people, we want to clarify the Constitution and include the words that we, the people, through our elected representatives, have the right to regulate our elections at all levels, federal, state, and local. And we want to return the power of regulating Long Beach elections to this council right here, so that the laws you pass will affect everyone. Recent cities include Los Angeles, San Diego, Pasadena, Upland. We'd like Long Beach to join the crowd. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Okay, Mr. Austin to close, and then we'll go to a vote.
Well, I just want to say it's been a pleasure working with this great group. 3 words, yes, we can. And let's go to a vote.
Okay, we have a motion and a second on item 9. Members, cast your votes.
Councilmember Neal?
Yes.
Motion carries. 8 votes yes.
Okay, thank you. Okay, pay attention, Mr.